Welcome to the final part of the Pokémon Fantasy version walkthrough. In this part we are going to get the Hunter Key. So you start in Oregano City and go east back to City Dungeons, which was in part 7 of the walkthrough. Open the gate like so, and it's fairly easy to get to the next part of our journey. You just carry on west and open the door with Alan's key. You probably would have opened this already, but in this particular playthrough we did not. Go down south, first turning on the right, and you go down and open the Queen Gate, like that, and you will enter Tooth Cave to the south. This is the following route you can go down in order to get through to Moon Lake without battling any trainers. On the way down, you can see on the screen there's Blacephalon. Legendaries respawn on certain weekdays after defeating certain parts of the post-game. Because we've defeated most of the post-game, most legendaries are there. You'll be greeted by Alan in Moon Lake, and he will talk to you. Prepare for battle. And we lost Alan a few times there, but you will battle him, and this is our attempt. When you attempt to go west, it starts with Clef Key like before, so we can send out Dog. It goes for the spikes. It's Prankster, so if you've got a Dark type out, it's a good idea because its status moves won't do anything apart from spikes, and down it goes. Next up is Lichen Rock. I think this is a day Lichen Rock, if I'm not mistaken. So it's quite fast and quite hard hitting. Yes, it is. It obviously carries like Accelerock and Stone Edge and stuff like that. So we just sent out Lilypad with its 2 stab moves, being able to take down rock types fairly easily. I think what happens is we're anticipating it to switch, but instead it sticks with Lichen Rock and uses Stone Edge on Dragon, which hits a fair amount. I don't know what our logic was at this point. I think we went for a Bulldoze, a bit outsped, didn't quite knock us out, but we managed to get it with the Bulldoze. I think if it used another move, it might well have knocked us out, but goes for Beartic. Obviously, Ice versus Dragon was the logic there. I think we decided whether to send out Bird or Dog. We end up going for Dog in the end. Sends out Beartic. I think Beartic carries a ground type move, so we were a little bit worried about that. And we healed up Dragon in the in-between period. Instead it goes for Play Rough, which does hit quite a lot, but we hit it with Flamethrower, which doesn't even hit half. I think it carries an Assault Vest, that would be why, but our second hit is a crit and manages to knock it out. So he managed to level up from that. Mimikyu is his next one. I think we go for Bird because it's pretty good against most of Mimikyu's attacks, as is usually the case with Bird. Obviously, you've got to break the disguise first, but our logic was we're going to get the attack up first. It goes for Swords Dance, so we're pretty worried at this point. Go for the Steel Wing, break the disguise. Its HP is now down to 7/8. I think we aim to go for another Steel Wing, except we don't. We go for another Hone Claws because Play Rough was hardly doing anything, and it seemed to be the only move that Mimikyu was using against Bird. So we were just going for more Hone Claws in order to get that attack nice and high. Goes for another Play Rough, this time crits and hits a fairly decent amount, but still nowhere near enough. And we go for Steel Wing once again. Another Play Rough, hits practically nothing, and we knock out Mimikyu with Steel Wing. We managed to do that. Gengar is his next one. It's a Mega Gengar. It's really difficult. I found this Pokemon so difficult. That's why I'm taking so long to work out what to do. I was really struggling here. I think what we decided to do in the end is go for Dragon's Outrage combination. Just in the hope it would tank one of the hits and then be able to outrage it down. Unfortunately, we don't manage to do that, and we get knocked straight out by a Sludge Wave. This Gengar, because it's a Mega, it carries Shadow Tag, and it's extremely irritating. So I recommend you really try and find a way to deal with it. This is how we dealt with it. We sent out Bat, pretty bulky. And what we do is we go for... well, we just seem to heal by the looks of it. Healed up Bird, Shadow Ball knocks out Bat, and Bat goes down. I think this one as I say, we really struggled with. This is what we use. We use Dog. Dog manages to tank one of its hits and then gets it down to about half HP with Crunch. And I think the strategy was we just let Dog go down and then revive it later on. But he heals Gengar and we crunch it again, and heals it yet again, and we crunch it yet again. And I think he's run out of healing items that he's willing to use at the minute, and we get knocked out as per the plan. So next what we're going to do is we're going to bring Dog back. We decided to use, do we use the max one or do we use a regular? We use a regular revive on Dog and we get it back to half HP. Sludge Wave or Oko Lily Pad. As I say, this Gengar is incredibly strong. Yeah, we spent quite a few minutes dealing with it. We know that Hattie's going to get Oko by Sludge Wave because it did in the last battle. So we use the opportunity to heal up Dog to get it to full HP, ready to tank its move again to go for the final crunch. Hattie's down, as we said. Dog's back, gets hit a little bit by the spikes, but we're still high enough health to tank whatever move it uses, which is Sludge Wave. And we managed to finally down Gengar, which was quite a struggle. Tangrowth is next. Normally easy with Dog, but Dog's on really low HP, so I decided to give it an opportunity to heal. And we go for Bird instead. Goes for a straight Brave Bird, hits more than half, so we're laughing at this point. Even with a Giga Drain, it doesn't get its HP quite high enough, but unfortunately we get full restore, but we're not really worried that much. We've still got enough HP to put up with the recoils from Brave Bird, and another one that sends Tangrowth tumbling down. So we managed to do that quite well. Alan goes off and warns you about Creepy Cabin as well as giving you a Gengarite. And what we do next is we're going Creepy Cabin. Quite an annoying map. Just follow these steps exactly and there shall be no problem to get to the boss room. And on the way, I think there's only one compulsory trainer which we're about to fight, but there might not even be any. I think there's another path. There's the multiple paths in this one. You just go straight north from here and north again, and you're in the room with the Lycanroc. This is a Dusk Lycanroc, and it's the last Dark Pokemon we're going to fight in this walkthrough. So, yeah. Same strategy as always, get Bat up front with Haze. I think what we decided to do is Lily Pad's just going to open with a Protect, just to avoid it having its being hit with a super buffed move. Lycanroc tries to buff itself even more with Swords Dance, but instead it gets hazed away. And I think at this point we're sort of working out what to do. I think we decided Bat's not safe from the rock type moves, so we go for Bird, who's a bit more resistant to them, while Lily Pad goes straight for the Giga Drain to hit it hard. Stone Edge gets Bird down a little bit, but Lily Pad knocks Lycanroc down to the 3/4 threshold, ready for the ally. First ally is Gothitelle. So we decided to take the approach that we take with Psychic types, which is to go for the Hone Claws Power Trip combination. And while doing that, we're also healing Bird on Lilypad's turn. Lycanroc takes a fair chunk out of Lilypad's HP, still going, and unfortunately Lilypad gets double targeted and faints. So our next one we send out is Dragon. Bird, we're still not confident it's going to hit high enough, so we go for another Hone Claws, and we go for the Bulldoze combination because Bird's immune to ground, and we can drop down the speed of the Pokemon involved there. Misses a Stone Edge. That's the good thing about opposing Stone Edges, is they're not that accurate. We finally think we can do a Power Trip, but that's what we decided to do, and we use Dragon's turn to heal itself up to almost half, up to almost full HP. Stone Edge hits, nearly knocks it out, doesn't quite. Gothitelle goes down. And we have managed to do that part. Next up, we decide to heal Dragon once again on her own turn, and we get another Steel Wing to drop Lycanroc down to half HP. Its next one is Freezing Rotom. By the way, Creepy Cabin, you can find Rotom and the Rotom Tome as well, if you look enough, but we won't cover that in this walkthrough. We send out Dog, Thunderbolt hits quite a bit, and it gets double targeted annoyingly and goes down. So Dog we can't use unless we revive it first. The rest of the Pokemon are not very good against Ice or Electric types. We obviously keep going with the Steel Wing, and I think our logic of using Air Slash on Lycanroc is to try and flinch it. Does it work? No, it doesn't, and the bat goes down. But Bird tanks the Blizzard quite well before knocking out Rotom. So that is that next ally dealt with. We go for Hattie because it's one of the few options we've got left. Goes for the Steel Wing to get Lycanroc's HP down, and on Hattie's turn we heal Bird. Another Swords Dance. We're a bit apprehensive at this point because we don't have Haze, because Bat's been knocked out, so we've got to wait a few turns. We're also apprehensive because we don't have Lilypad to knock out Seismitoad very easily, so we decided to use both our turns on this turn to use Revives to heal those two party members respectively. We sort of assumed that the two Pokemon we've got up now would be knocked out, but far from it, they're both still standing. So we decided to stand and fight with these two as things currently are, apart from Hattie, which we switched to Bat, but unfortunately it was a bad decision because the Crunch knocks out Bat. Brave Bird hits a massive amount, and we're confident to take out Seismitoad without Lilypad's assistance, but nonetheless we send it out because it's quite good against that last quarter health of Lycanroc anyway, and resists some of the moves well as well. I think we decided to use one of the turns to heal one of the Pokemon, and that Pokemon is Bird, who's been an absolute saviour, not only through this battle, but through the playthrough as a whole. Absolutely, once again, recommend Corviknight. I recommend all of these team members, actually. They're all very good. So then we finally end up using the Steel Wing and Bubble Beam to knock out Lycanroc, and it goes down. So that was the last Dark Pokemon on the list in the main storyline that we've dealt with. It doesn't have to be the last, it depends what order you do the post-game in, but this is the one we did it in, and Alan comes and talks to you, talks about a curse. So the next thing you got to do is you got to go back to Moon Lake and fight all and defeat all these hunters here. This one has a Breloom and a Slacking. This one has Maractus and Crabominable, that abomination. This one has Luxray, Vanillux. We go and heal a few times because some of them do damage to our team members, and we want to heal PP as well. Ignore that chap there, but speak to this guy who will have a Drudigon and a Haxorus, so the two dragons of Gen 5. And this one's a double between the two Nidos, respectively. This next one is the two Mucks as well, Lowland and Regular. After you defeat them all, Alan will appear, speak to him, and he'll talk to you, then go north back into Tooth Cave and follow the path as laid out here. I think there's one compulsory trainer on the way. That one was optional, so we didn't show the footage. This compulsory trainer has the two Stunfisks, which will be taken out with ground-type moves, although they're quite tanky. Carry on north, and you'll end up in this part of Tooth Cave. Defeat the 6 Dark Wizards and Witches. This centre one has Gorgeist and Trevenant. The one in the southwest will have Sableye and Spiritomb. Going north, starting on the west, you have a chap with a Mismagus and a Chandelure. Centre, Golurk and Gengar. They're all quite sort of ghost types. Delmise, and Frostlass on the east. And the southeast will have the 2 genders of Jellicents, pretty bulky in the magic defense department. Once you've done that, you can leave the area. You can go south out of Tooth Cave. You can use an escape rope if you want, or you can get out however. But in the way I went, there is a compulsory trainer that you have to fight. They've got a Malamar and a Barbaracle. So you sort of leave Tooth Cave and go back to Moon Lake, and all that is left now is for us to try and take care of the boss. Alan will come and speak to you and basically tell you that that's what we're going to have to try and do. So prepare. This one you can manage thanks to surfing without having to do a single battle with any of these hunters. So this is obviously how you do it. You just sort of surf down across the lake area. I mistimed where I was to land, so that's just this bit of footage there, but that soon gets rectified right there. And we make our way to the southwest of the map, where you will find the head hunter. And here he is, and this is the final battle of this walkthrough. So here we go. We've got Dog up first, and his first one is Toxapex. We shouldn't have sent Dog out first. I'd have sent Dragon out first because it has the ground type moves. Maybe even sent Hattie out first would be logical, but it's risky to some of its poison type stuff. Anyone who's ever played competitive will know how much of a pain this Pokemon is and how much of a tank it can be. So just sort of hammer at it with electric type moves, ground type moves, whatever else. Unfortunately, it gets the better of us with a liquidation. So we send out Dragon because it has Bulldoze. But I think our approach that we took was to use Dragon Dance a few times. It does carry Baneful Bunker, so be careful if you've got the contact move because you'll get poisoned if you use if it uses that against Baneful Bunker. Carries Liquidation and Venoshock as well. So we get a few Dragon Dances up to get that attack right the way up in order to avoid hitting hardly anything on the Toxapex. It keeps Baneful Bunkering, but because Bulldoze isn't contact, we're pretty safe in that department. We don't hit quite as much as we'd like to, but it's still a decent amount, and it's barely touching Dragon at all. It also carries Toxic, but we're not really concerned because we got the full restores, and down goes Toxapex after quite a number of turns. which is standard for Toxapexes. Azumarill, this is a huge power Azumarill. It also carries Aqua Jet, so don't think you've got speed on your side. On this one, we just decide to let Dragon get knocked out after a few rock slides. It also carries a Citrus Berry, and I think it carries Belly Drum as well, but the trainer in this case decided not to use it. So we go with Lily Pad, because obviously it's weak to grass. That's the move we decided to use. Doesn't quite knock it out, but it does fail a Belly Drum in the process. The trainer then sends out Blaziken. This is a speed boost Blaziken. Glad to announce it's not a mega one though, but it is a speed boost one. It hits quite hard with a Stone Edge, and our Bubble Beam doesn't quite knock it out, unfortunately. It's obviously going to be faster now that it's been speed boosted twice, but we unfortunately manages to knock out Lily Pad as well. We send it back because this is pretty fast, pretty bulky, and has a flying type move. Flare Blitz almost hits quite hard, but combination with the recoil and air slash allows us to knock it out. And that one goes down. Electros is next. Electros, obviously huge pain because it has no weaknesses. One way to circumvent this, if you have a Pokemon with Mold Breaker, for example, if you caught a Haxorus with a Mold Breaker instead of Rivalry, that's a good method. Another way is just brute force, just hit it with fairly hard moves and try and resist its moves. It's got quite good coverage, so watch out for that. The one we decided to go for was Hattie, but it goes for a Volt Switch, and instead it has Azumarill again. I think our strategy at this point was just to go nuts with the Psychic, but it liquidations us and we go down. Bat's next, because we know we outspeed, and even an Aqua Jet probably wouldn't be able to knock it out at that HP. Air Slash successfully gets rid of Azumarill. Electros is back. We're a bit panicky. Both our Pokemon are weak to Electric, and we don't really have anything that can massively, detrimentally damage it. But Bird is up and goes straight for a Brave Bird. Doesn't hits about half of its remaining. Luckily, Crunch does hardly anything. We go for another Brave Bird, and I think our logic at this point was that we should probably go and revive someone. We're just sort of thinking here during this time period. We use the Max Revive instead of the regular Revive on Dragon, just because Dragon's got those really hard-hitting Outrage moves. And we decided to go for a Brave Bird, ready to sacrifice Electros just to get that bit of HP down. Sacrifice Bird. To get Electros' HP down. Dragon's up now. We decide to go for a strategy straight Outrage. Almost does it, and then its second one does manage to successfully knock out Electros. So that was another annoying one. Dreadnought, this one is a Mega, but we're still locked into Outrage, and it also carries Stamina, which is not great against the physical attackers, obviously. It's also a lot faster than I thought, for reasons that I will show you in a minute. But it unfortunately makes light work of Dragon in a few moves time, but not enough time for us to successfully revive two of our team members. So Dragon was pretty useful at tanking those liquidations right there. Next, we decided to send that Lily Pad because we assume we're faster. And go for 4 times effective Giga Drain. We weren't faster, but luckily it misses Head Smash, which would have probably knocked us out, and we managed to Giga Drain us back to nearly high HP. Its next one's Hydrogen. Hatterene would be ideal at this point, but it carries Flash Cannon, so we were quite reluctant to send out Hatterene, so we decided to go for Bird instead. Bird also is weak to Fire Blast, so I think our logic was that Dragon is faster than Hydrogen, and we can just Outrage it down. So that was our decision. We send out Dragon, ready for a straight Outrage, which hits it's down to about 25%. Dragon Pulse does knock it out, but we're not concerned at this point. We have Crobat, which is definitely faster, and plus a Leech Life, it is weak to Bug. So our logic was just to do that, but we forgot about all the 4 restores as we usually do in these battles throughout this walkthrough. Keep going for the Leech Life. It's not going to really hit hard enough, and plus furthermore our Leech Lives are healing us back up as well, so that is quite useful. It keeps healing once again, and this time we know that 1 Leech Life will not heal us full enough, so we use a manual Max Potion. Dragon Pulse hits down to about half, goes for another Leech Life, and in the combinations of that we should hopefully be able to knock out Hydrogen, which is exactly what we do. And after all that, we eventually manage to defeat the Headhunter. So that was pretty impressive. Alan comes along, and the Headhunter will give you a Dreadnought. and also will give you the hunter key, which is the last of all the keys. Another thing you can do is go back to Alan, and he will give you an own tempo Rockruff, which can evolve into Dusk form Lycanroc. He will also let you do hyper training using bottle caps, which gets the IVs up. Now you've got all keys, you can go to the catacombs to the northeast of the map to speak to and potentially catch a very, very powerful Pokemon. Well, this walkthrough has been an absolute pleasure to do. And thank you very much for watching. There are many other post-game features that I haven't mentioned, so I recommend you play the game by using the download link in the description below. Thank you very much, and goodbye.